All right, so now that we've got our pieces parts, the next thing is we've got to move the pieces parts. And so that's where erosion comes in. So erosion is going to be the separation and transport of the sediment from the parent, and it can be caused by gravity, wind, rivers, ocean waves, glaciers, and other things. So here are some pictures. Can you spot what is the primary thing that is going to be transporting the sediments that are being created? So what's the first one? Look at the base of that cliff, and you'll notice there's a big debris pile. So what caused that debris pile? Okay, it's going to be gravity. So that as the rock on the rock faces wears down and is broken up by weathering, then gravity is going to pull it off the face and it's going to pile up at the base of the cliff. So that would be an example of what gravity can do. Okay, what's the one that is right next to it? Okay, that is going to be wave action. So you've got waves that are pounding on the cliff face, and then it causes the cliff face to break up and to fall into the ocean. And sometimes you can have pieces of the cliff face that are left over and they're still upright, and then those things are going to be called sea stacks. So if you've ever been to the ocean, you might have noticed things like that. Okay, what's the picture that's right next to it? Okay, so that's a picture of a glacier, and one of the things we're going to find that a glacier can do is it can freeze around rocks, and then as the glacier goes downhill, so think of it as a very, very slow moving river, but the water is solid, and it's going to be flowing downhill because of gravity, and as it does so, it can freeze rocks into the ice and carry them with the glacier. The glacier can also act like a bulldozer, and it can push materials in front of it. Well, once the glacier begins to melt, all of that material that was frozen in the glacier drops wherever it's at, and then the glacier retreats back up the valley, leaving behind this pile of debris. Okay, what's the picture, the first picture there on the bottom row? What is that? Okay, so that shows what a river can do, and you can see how that river has carved that canyon, and also how that river has deposited some of its material on the banks. And then the last picture shows what wind can do. So that used to be a solid piece of rock, but due to the erosional effects of wind, you'll notice that it is highly eroded and has formed these very interesting looking shapes. Okay, in our next segment, we are then going to talk about what happens to the sediments once they have been eroded and transported.